Hi everybody, this is Astrid Mueller again. I'm illustrator and brand designer, and as you know, I'm passionate about helping fashion startups and women entrepreneurs succeed. Today I have something that's really useful. I'm going to show you some design tips. As entrepreneurs and fashion startups and anybody, like you probably come in the situation where you need a quick graphic, something that you can just slap online, like whether it's like a small thing for your website or a really special Instagram graphic. And you may not always want to contact your designer for every little thing. So maybe because you want to save money or you just need it like super quick or whatever, but you still want to stay on brand, and you sometimes you just want to adapt a text or something in an image, right? So today I'm going to show you a few Photoshop tips, how you can wing it and do it like as a quick thing to just get things done. So here's what I do. I use a graphic tablet and a pen, and I draw and I do that. You don't need that. I'm going to show you. You can do it with a mouse, something super simple. Get ready for a Photoshop crash course. So now we are in Photoshop and ready to get kicking with a design. First, before we get started, I wanted to quickly show you how to set up your workspace, because depending on who was on your Photoshop before or how you got it when you purchased it, it may not exactly look like this. There are different palettes and you can reset and work with different workspaces, as I call it. So just quickly go here to Window and Workspace. See, I have one set up for myself here. But you just to start out, you can just go to the basic workspace essentials. Pick this one, and then it probably, and I'll go here to reset essentials. Your workspace probably kind of looks like this. So if it looks a little bit different here, don't get freaked out. You can adjust this, and I'll show you in just a second how I adjusted it for myself. Let's open an image though, so we have something to work with. So to open a file, you just go to File, Open, and here you always see the shortcuts. That's Apple O. I love to work with shortcuts. It just goes much faster, especially if you work with it for a while. You'll speed up your process quite a bit. So I'm going to pick up a design file here that I want to work on, and my design here is already done. But let's assume that you have a design where you just want to change the text, and this could be an actual example because I created this for the Fashion Potential, which, by the way, is a great platform if you are into fashion and you're starting a career in fashion, or you're a fashion designer or a fashion student and you want to make a career or business in fashion. Check out the Fashion Potential. That just as a side note. I created this design for Melissa from the Fashion Potential. It's a graphic that she uses for her courses and seminars that she gives. So when she wants to create a new course, she has to update this design, and this is actually something that is not super intuitive for everybody who doesn't always use Photoshop. So I'm going to show you in a minute like how you can change text and how you could move things around here, just so you have a basic grip of how to use Photoshop, like for the essentials that you may want for yourself without always having to hire a designer for everything. So quick look here again at the workspace. Like, I personally like to have things cleaned up and like put away things that I don't need, and Photoshop is really great. You can actually do this. So you can grab these palettes here and move them around and do whatever you want and put them wherever you like them. Like, I personally, I click away the things that I don't need. So in this instance, I had this one palette that was not relevant. This one as well, the adjustments, I don't need that. And the styles, I hardly ever use that. What you definitely need is the layers palette. So the one that's here with layers and channels and paths, you can leave that. You can also leave the colors in the swatches in case you want to change the colors later. And you need another one, which what we're going to do here. It's a text palette, and they call it character. So, and this is where you can always get palettes that you don't see and that you need. You can get them here, and then you can always like close them away with the X here. Sorry, in case I'm going too fast. So this is just a basic kind of setup to get you ready to work on this stuff. So now I have the palettes kind of like I like them, but feel free to move them around so that you're comfortable with them. So before we do anything, I'm doing this assuming that you're a total Photoshop newbie and you just kind of want to get your first grip on the very basics. So this is not an advanced video or anything like that. So I'm just going to give you an introduction, like what is what and what are you seeing here and what are the key tools that you need to just change like text and things like that. So this is super important. Here's the layers palette. That is how Photoshop organizes things. So if you picture a glass painting, and if you imagine that the painting has different layers, picture like you have a black line drawing in front, and then behind it there's a color drawing, and together all these layers create one image that is composed of all these different window panes. That's exactly how Photoshop works. These layers are kind of stacked on top of each other. So you see if there's an eye symbol here on the left where you can make it visible and disappear the layers, make them invisible again. So this is how I got it. Okay, so and then you can also open these layer groups where you see the individual layers are here in one group, and I can access all these layers individually, which is great for Photoshop because that means these designs exist on their own. So you can move them around and you see the layer changes here as you move things around. I'm going to go back to how it was real quick. So this is essentially how it works. You have these layers, and when you turn on the eye symbol on the left, it becomes visible or invisible, depending on what you want to do. I set up this file so that it's with groups, and I named them in a way that makes sense so that people know. In this case, Melissa kind of knows what is in that grouping, and it kind of helps to keep things clean. You don't have to do that, especially if it's like super basic file that you're doing, but I like to keep things organized. So here is a grouping that's called with title, where you have the title here, and this one here is where we have the main text only. Let me see. This is no title, main text, and here with the title together. Whoops. Sorry, here we go. Actually, I was not that organized, apparently. But anyway, you get the concept here of how this works. So these are the layers that you will keep, and you know how to access them. You just open the groups, click in the layers, and as soon as you click in the layers, you see that these elements are activated and you can work with them. So that's the first really important thing. Now let's look at the tools to do things. You need this tools palette here on the left. And the tool that you most often will need is this one right here, which is the main arrow tool, which is used to select things. So if you have this tool selected and click on this real quick, if it's not marked yet, when you have that selected, you see this cross symbol, and that means you can actually click on things and select them. And that works as long as you have this auto select checked here, because you can turn that off too, and in case you cannot click other layers, that means you probably have this check mark unchecked. So this is the one that we need right now, and then we'll need another tool later to change the text, which is the text tool right here. So let's make an example, a quick example of this, so that you actually see what you can do with that. So if we have the text tool selected, you can just click on it, or just hit the letter T on the keyboard. Then you land on that tool really quickly too. Just a quick tip here: if you want to use it more often, you see that there's letters associated with these tools, and you can select each of these tools with the letter as well. This one is a V, it doesn't show this one, but anyway, we're going to the T symbol, and let's say we want to change this text to something else. So in case of how to get your fashion line retail ready, we're going to have a new title here, and I'm just going to make something up on the fly. This is the new class, and it's awesome. So you can just type type in directly as soon as you click in the text. And that's, yeah, pretty straightforward. So now you see this one is not aligned super perfectly how it looks best. So to change that a little bit, like I would say that I would want to have the and just a little bit higher up here. So I'll go back to the text tool by hitting this symbol right here or the letter T, and in this instance I would like add a few empty spaces and just arrange it a little bit more, and then go back to the select tool and move this text just a little bit. And you can also use the arrows to place things. And that's how you change the text. So that's a super basic thing. So now you want to save this thing, this file for the internet, and this really depends on where you want to use it. So yeah, ask your designer or web designer how they need the file. And in my instance here, it's already set up for Melissa so that it's the precise size that she needs it for. So you don't have to change the format at all. You could just save it. But I'm going to show you where you can access this and where you see the size. So you go to image size, and here you see the pixel dimensions of a file and how it's set up. So in this instance, we see it's 600 pixels by 400 pixels, which is exactly how she needs it for her website. And it's 72 dpi, which this here, that means the pixel resolution for the screen. And if you want to save the file for the internet, just make sure you have 72 dpi selected here, because their other resolutions are for print and for other purposes. So if you know the internet resolution, like 600 by 400 in this case, just choose 72 and you're good to go. So the file size is good here. Now we're just going to save it for the internet. And to save it, you can always go to File, Save As. And here, first it gives you the selection Photoshop, but we would want to save it as JPEG, because JPEG is a great format for the internet. And then here, the quality, it kind of depends how, the higher you go, the higher the quality, but also the higher the file size. What I usually do is go as low as you can while the quality still looks great. So let's say like if you go like super low, you're going to start to see slight pixel issues here. So don't go too low. But if you're like around 8 or 9, this is already awesome. So you can hit OK on this. And we already saved the file. It is right here. And there's another way of saving files for the internet, which even makes it smaller. I'm going to show you that real quick too. And this is Save for Web. You can click it here or with this crazy shortcut, but you don't worry about it if you don't use Photoshop a lot. So just go Save for Web, and then here you see it already gives you JPEG as a suggestion. There are other web formats that work, but JPEG is usually great for general purposes. So here's a more refined quality scale where you can see, like if you go down with this, you're starting to see kind of pixel issues here, and you never want that. So keep the quality high enough so that it really looks awesome. And then when you see a preview down here, how small that file actually gets. So the lower you go, the smaller it is. Let's say, yeah, I don't like to go too low because I still want to make sure that it's really good quality. And this is a really small file size, so you're very good with this. So you can save here, and then it asks you where. I would usually give a file name where I know what it is. Web save, and then you have the file web save. See like the difference if you saved it as a normal JPEG, it's 100 kilobytes here, and the way we saved it for the web, it's already smaller. So if you know you're going to use it only on the internet, just save it as for the web. I don't usually recommend to do big changes in a design. If you're an established brand and you had a brand designer create things for you and you need new items, I always recommend that You get it from the designer just to make sure that everything is in line with the brand. You have the right fonts and everything is just fine tuned because sometimes things just like are a super quick thing for a designer and you maybe end up tinkering quite a lot and spending a lot of time that you could use growing your business instead. I'm going to show you how to place a logo. So here would be the logo from the Fashion Potential. And the best way to insert it directly into the file, one way is to just drag it right over the image. And when you do that, this means that it actually just creates a link to the image. So this means that you can scale this file. This is super awesome. You see this small icon here on that layer palette, that means that it's just a link to the original file. So if I make this bigger, the quality is always going to be awesome. If you place a file in a different way, I'm just going to show you real quick. Let's say you just open the file in Photoshop like this separately, and then you paste it into this document here. Hang on one second. See, now you don't have this link here. So this means this is a pixel file, and the pixel file will become pixelated. See how the quality changes? So it's not good quality anymore when you make it bigger. You don't want that. So I always recommend take the original vector file, which sorry, that's a quick excursion to technicalities, but if you go to ask your designer for the vector file and use a file that has it's a file ending in AI, that's Illustrator file, or EPS, that's another vector file, or PDFs can also be vector files. So use that and then just drag it right into the image that is open in Photoshop, and then you just place the link to the original vector file. And just a quick explanation for this so that you know what this means. So there are two file types. One file type is pixel file, which means the files are calculated by precise pixels. Like so that's the case with photos. So if you have a photo, the file is described that each spot in the photo, each pixel has a particular value and color. If that photo is enlarged, there is not going to be enough pixels for the larger photo file. So it's just going to try to guess what pixels are missing. So this causes a photo to get blurry and get bad quality if you make a pixel file larger. You cannot really do that. Only to a limited extent you can do that. Vector files are different. Vector files are calculated in a different way. They're created in programs like Adobe Illustrator, and they are calculated in a mathematical way. Vector files are awesome to use. They can be scaled to any size. Pixel files cannot. So to move it around, again, you just need this tool right here. So you can place it where you think it would go. To make it bigger, you can just grab the corners, but you want to make sure that it doesn't scale, like get a different proportion. So for that, you need to hit the Shift button. If you hit the Shift key while you're dragging, you can keep the proportions and make it bigger. So I'm just going to do this. Just as a quick preview, this is just to show how you can place things. So now we place this, and let's assume that this is ready how we like to keep it for Instagram, for example. So let's save this file for Instagram. So Instagram has proportions. Today they are 640 by 640 pixels. I always recommend to save things a little bit bigger because assume that the Instagram in the future upgrades their image resolution. You want to make sure that your older images are still going to be awesome, and So go a little bit bigger than that. So I'm just going to say let's do 1,000 pixel just in case. So let's go to the image size. And right now this file is 500 by 500. So I'm going to type in 1,000. And again, you can only do that because we have it set up as vector with links to vector files. So we have 1,000 pixels by 1,000 is what we need. We need the 72 resolution. We hit OK. And as you see, this file stays crystal clear because I set it up with links to original vector files. And the text, of course, they always scale perfectly as well because they are created in Photoshop, and Photoshop does not pixelate that unless you create a pixelator. But your designer can help you set up the file so that it's right and that you can scale it to any size you need. Now we're ready to save it for the web again. So I can here again, save for the web. If you want to see it smaller, by the way, you can always hit Apple and minus or Apple and plus, just to give you like a little bit of help to navigate. So anyway, this is a preview here. We're ready to save it. The quality is on 69. I would say that's okay. It looks good on the 200% quality here. Just to see, looks fine. So we can save this here, Square Web. Oh, there you are again. I hope you enjoyed that crash course. I hope it was useful for you. And if you do have any more questions about this, leave a comment over on my blog. If you have anything that you need help with regarding your brand, like any topic on branding, how to use branding to succeed, always just shoot me an email or leave a note. If I can, I will cover it in one of my next branding newsletters. So sign up for my Startup Branding newsletter, and I'll see you there again soon. Bye.